As Donald Trump's war against Iran is spiraling out of control, we are getting this information, and we need to, of course, verify it, but information that the U.S. Army has abruptly canceled a major training exercise for the headquarters element of the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg in North Carolina, fueling speculation within the Defense Department that soldiers specializing in ground combat and a range of other missions may be sent to the Middle East to join the war against Iran. Sources are telling this to the Washington Post. As you may know, the 82nd Airborne operates a brigade combat team consisting of several thousand soldiers, which alongside elements of the U.S. Air Force are kept on high alert, allowing them to undertake an airborne deployment on 18 hours notice with no prior warning for missions as varied as seizing airfields and other critical infrastructure to evacuation, known more commonly as the Immediate Response Force. And this follows, I think, the Trump regime falsely leaking to members of the press that the Kurds were doing a ground invasion of Iran, to which the Kurdish leaders said that's absolutely false. Now, we have a lot of military reporters just trying to get information about what the hell is going on. Thomas Novelly explains, 2 days ago, I asked CENTCOM detailed questions about space operations and forces in the region. I just got one response back today. See attached our Operation Epic Fury fact sheet. It's the 72-hour fact sheet. The war has been going on for 6 days. And as the war continues to go on, seems like Russia and China have already been drawn into this thing, providing details about where American military assets are located. According to 3 U.S. officials who spoke to the Washington Post, Russia has provided Iran with intelligence on locations of U.S. ships, aircraft, personnel, and assets in the Middle East in what has been described as a pretty comprehensive effort. When asked earlier this week about the influence of China or Russia in the conflict with Iran, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth responded, they're not really a factor here. In addition to intelligence support and targeting data provided to Iran by Russia, the United States has also received intelligence suggesting that China may be preparing to join the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, providing Iran with financial assistance, spare parts, and missile components. 3 people familiar with the matter told CNN China relies heavily on Iranian oil and has reportedly been pressuring Tehran to allow a safe passage for vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. And Donald Trump called into CNN and many other reporters today to say on a scale from 1 to 10, he believes the war in Iran is a 12 or a 15. Then he called Jonathan Karl at ABC and said, don't you love my, quote, performance? Did you love my performance? Direct quote. In Venezuela, my performance in Iran is better, isn't it? Then Donald Trump's been posting images of Bill Maher all morning. He keeps posting these weird images of Bill Maher. Oil prices through the roof. In the last 9 hours, the price increased $12 per barrel. We're now at $92.50. This could hit $100 a barrel today. And while the United States is also saying that our Air Force bases in the United Arab Emirates really aren't hit and our facilities are fine, we start to see photos like this. And it seems pretty clear that we're just getting lied to. So we got to make sense of this. We're not getting intelligence. This is the least intelligent regime imaginable. So here to help us sort through it, let's bring in Democratic Congress member Jim Himes, the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressmember Himes, it's great to see you. This war already seems like it's spiraling out of control. It is spiraling out of control, but also we don't even know what the hell is going on at any level, and it's lie after lie. What can you tell us, Congressman?
Yeah. And, as the ranking member of the Intelligence Committee, maybe I know slightly better than most what's going on because I get to see the intelligence, not something I can talk about. But Ben, let's back this up a little bit. You're right. We don't really know what's going on. None of what we're seeing is good. None. You were talking about the price of a barrel of oil. You know what that's translated into? 33 cents on a gallon of gas for the American people just in the last week or so. So what's the one thing you need to know when you decide foolishly almost always to go to war in the Middle East? The one thing you need to know is how you get out. How does this end? Now, the one thing I know for sure, we've had, a whole bunch of different explanations from the president of how this ends. None of them have made any sense, but he settled on this. You could put up his Truth Social. His answer to that question is it's the total and unconditional surrender of the Iranian regime. And Ben, the one thing we know for sure is that it's not going to end that way. It is absolutely not going to end that way. This is not Venezuela. This is not snatching Maduro. This is a vicious evil, heavily armed, extremely capable regime that have been in the business of killing Americans for a very long time. And so the one way this does not end is through unconditional surrender. And sadly, all of the other alternatives are pretty ugly. Anyway, yeah, the one thing we know for sure is that this president really has gotten himself into something that he doesn't begin to understand.
Yeah, I mean, that was his post this morning. Unconditional surrender. And what does he think, that he's going to get tweeted back by the Iranian extremist Islamic Republic? Oh, hey, Donald, in all caps. Oh, yeah, we're going to do that. What can we do for you? I don't even know. I don't even know what he's thinking. And then he's damaged so many relationships over the past year plus that it's like, hey, can you help us? Yeah, we're not really going to do that. Can you help us? Yeah, we really can't help you. Now he sees how isolated and alone he is. He's desperate to do this meeting with China, this state visit. And Xi Jinping knows that for Donald Trump, he just wants to go to Beijing, stand in front of the Chinese soldiers who stand at attention for Donald Trump. And so Trump's willing to take away all of the commitments to Taiwan simply to just show up in China. Xi Jinping knows that. Xi Jinping's out there likely working with Russia to help Iran target American assets. And Donald Trump's out there rating this a 12 of 15.
Ben, you know what we've done to our European allies over the course of the last year by threatening to invade Greenland and all the other crazy stuff that has happened. Here's the fact that a Hollywood screenwriter would never conceive of. J.D. Vance and the President of the United States have spent a year literally beating up on President Zelensky of Ukraine, the one man on the planet who is making an unequivocal and extremely expensive defense of all that we hold dear against a mass murderer in Russia. And of course, our president has cozied up and voted with in the United Nations that mass murderer, humiliated Zelensky. Vice President J.D. Vance saying, you should say thank you. President saying you have no cards to play. And what happened this week? Hat in hand, they go to Zelensky and say, we don't know how to defend against the Iranian drones, and you know a little something about that. Can you please help us? Again, a screenwriter in Hollywood would not dream of that script, but that is how low this president has reduced our country, to that sort of depravity.
Yeah, but Congressman, as we are now begging Zelensky, help us with how to figure out how to shoot down the Shahid drones, how to shoot down the ballistic missiles, Donald Trump then gives another interview to Politico, and Caroline Leavitt holds a press conference where he again calls Zelensky P.T. Barnum and says that Putin's the one who wants to make a deal and Zelensky's the person who's holding this up. I mean, as even 24 hours ago, while we need Ukraine's assistance, while we ask for it, Donald Trump's still out there yesterday saying positive things about Putin and Xi Jinping. It's crazy.
And, two interesting things, right? This is what happens when a leader succeeds in surrounding themselves with people who won't tell them the truth. People whose sole objective, morning, noon, and night, is to praise the dear leader. This is what happens. Nobody says, Mr. President, a war in the Middle East is going to lead to an increase in oil prices, which is very rapidly going to lead to an increase in gasoline prices. Mr. President, you ran a race saying you would bring costs down and not get involved in wars. And you're about to get involved in a war that will dramatically raise costs. No one can say that to him. And I see that in the Congress of the United States. Just 24 hours ago, Ben, the House Republican majority said no to the House of Representatives considering this war. Not because we want to, but because the Constitution demands it. It is the Constitution that we swear allegiance to that demands that the representatives of the people actually debate and authorize this stuff. And look, forget about the words of the Constitution. The reason the Constitution says that is we're doing the most serious thing that the United States can do. We've already lost 6 precious lives.